Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't think I like it. What is happening, guys? Mike here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at a product all the way from Singapore by a brand called Apestomen, and actually I hear it's one of the most popular products in Vietnam, so I thought that was very cool. But before we begin this review, I do want to toss out a little disclaimer because I've already gotten a few heated replies on Instagram, which is a little surprising to me. I didn't really expect that, but anyway, this is just a regular product review. I do these every week. This is not really anything different or special in any way. You know, at no point am I suggesting that this product I'm about to review is the best out there, the best ever made. I would never do that no matter what the product is. I don't do that with anything. So that's not what is going on here. So my job is not to do that. It's not to hype things. It's not to convince anyone to buy this or that or anything else. It's to showcase what this is and how well it works for me. That's all I'm doing in this video. And that all being said, we do have a lot of information to discuss on this product. So I am going to try to go through it a little quicker than usual. I always say that, but then it ends up being long anyway. But I am going to give myself that goal of getting through it quickly. And of course, we are going to start with the specs on the product. According to the brand, the Apestomen Volcanic Clay is a high volume and extreme holding clay that's made with both water and petro. Beyond those hold and volume attributes, it also features an easy washout, matte finish, and a bergamot with lemon and lime scent. It also claims to add fullness, thickness, and structure to otherwise messy and lifeless hair. Price-wise, we're looking at $11.17 for 2.64 ounces. Looking inside the jar here, we got a pretty thick looking clay here. Initially, it does come off to me as a heavy clay based on what we've seen in the past with clays like that. As you can probably see here, it is thick, but really it's got a little slickness to it as well, so it does come out of the jar pretty easy, a lot easier than you might think. And it also does break down with very little effort. When you do begin to break it down, you will notice a bit of stickiness there too, not really too much. Honestly, it has more slickness to it than anything else while it's in the hand, I think. Now, as usual, I did several tests with this product in preparation for this review, and the first thing that I noticed was when I started testing was that damp hair just it was out. It was out. It did not work for me. I could get it to style. Obviously, I'm not going to try and pretend that damp hair somehow prevented it from styling and just like didn't work in that aspect. When I say it didn't work, I mean, as usual with clays, when the moisture is introduced to the hair, it leads to an impairment in features that would otherwise be portrayed by the clay or matte paste or whatever. When there's clays involved, the moisture just really impairs it from working. I then, of course, moved on to dry hair, and I first started with 2 scoops, and I'm a heavy scooper as is. I like to use a good amount of product when I style, and so when I dove into this one with 2 scoops, I quickly found out that with this one I could not do that. The 2 scoops were just way too much product. It took over to the point where I couldn't even comb it. I mean, it was a lot. It was way too much. Obviously that's my fault though, but that's also why we test. It's also why I explore things multiple times and not just once. So then I obviously reset my hair and move down to 1 scoop, and that is where the demos today are going to begin right here. This is clean dry hair, no other tonics, pre-styler sprays of any type here, just plain clean dry hair. I am adding in the 1 scoop like I said, and at first my plan was to attempt my normal side swept style, the normal hairstyle that I have. But before we go into that, I do want to report to you on what I'm seeing as I add the scoop in here, and as I add it in, I can tell you it's so much drier as soon as it hits the hair. The dryness really just comes out of nowhere actually, because it feels so slick in the hand, but it's just so dry once it hits the hair. It just makes itself incredibly known, and I just mean everything is elevated once it hits your hair. I mean, you got that dryness, and on top of that you got the hold. I mean, you got a lot going on right now, and it was this really that led me down what I'm about to tell you. Realizing this, realizing that there's a lot going on here, I decided for this first style to actually just change up my game game plan a little bit. From the side sweep, I changed it quickly. I realized like this is not going to happen. I have to abandon ship and go with another plan. So I decided to just go straight into a forward quiff. I made this choice here because it was a bit hard actually to shape based on the scoop size that I had used. Once, again, this is all about experimentation. I couldn't actually mold the shape. I just had a really hard time shaping that style, and I'll talk more about this in my final thoughts too. But moving over to a forward quiff it was effortless. I mean, this product is made for stuff like this. It worked so well, it just pretty much fell in place. But doing the forward quiff also allowed me to test the hold and texture abilities, as well as, obvious other things like finish, volume, thickening, etc. But here is the results on that forward quiff too. And you can see for yourself, all the boxes are checked here. I think it's looking very good, honestly. I was really happy with the results of it. My son Finn here, actually, he thought it looked pretty good too. So we tossed some up in his hair, and I think he looks pretty fresh as well. Going back to my style though, here's now a look at the same style 10 hours later. Yes, 10 hours. This was a full day of work, running around, all the stuff that I did, and I have to tell you, this seems to have held up brilliantly. I mean, we've got everything that we had in the initial style, which 10 hours later is no small task. But on top of that great endurance, we have all this hold left over still. I mean, as you can see, I can easily move things around and restyle it. I still have hold if I needed it. And really, I think this could go on for hours past this, which is just insane. I mean, I gotta tell you, that endurance was great. I mean, 10 hours, that's a long time. I mean, if you go back a year ago, we were impressed when products like lasted 6 to 8 hours. Now they're coming out with products that can go like 24 hours. This is crazy stuff. But after doing that first test, I did want to explore further. It got me curious to see how I could get that side swept style, my usual style that I wanted to get in the first demo that I, wasn't able to because I used too big a scoop. I really wanted to see how I could do it, or, even if it was possible. I wanted to see if I could do it, working with different techniques, or if it was just like a possible flaw with the product. Either one is valuable to report to you guys. So what I did was I reset my hair one more time, and I was able to get it to do the style that I wanted. What I found was, in that test, that small scoops was key. Small scoops. And for reference, here is the scoop size that I'm used to using. This is usually the size that I go with. And here is the size that I needed to go down to with this product in order to get more sculpting ability out of this product. Here's actually a look at the style that I was able to achieve, and in doing so, I got all the benefits from the forward quiff. So actually using less product didn't result in a sacrifice at all, which is great in my opinion. Now though, before we jump into final thoughts, I want to touch real quick on something the brand told me about, and that's counterfeits. This is something that we don't talk about it a lot, but this is something that I've heard about with a lot of brands. Occasionally it comes up with a lot of popular brands. Unfortunately, when a brand gets popular in certain countries, we get people that they want to capitalize on a piece of that popularity, so they steal the look of the product and try to pass it off as authentic. And it really sucks because these people put a lot of work into their brand. I just keep thinking, what if it was my brand? Somebody just stole my logo or a label and then just put their own product in there and try to pass it off as mine, and somebody were to spend their hard-earned money on it and be disappointed and actually think it's one of my products. That would just piss me off. And in doing research on this brand specifically, I saw a lot of fakes. There's videos that you can even see where they go to great lengths to make fakes of this product. And to help combat that, one, I have put in the description the authentic places to buy this product. Places you're guaranteed to get authentic products every time. And then two, actually the brand puts something on the can itself to try and help make the authentic products more identifiable. They have these scratch off stickers here, and they have a code on them. And I am being told that the fake ones do not have this yet. So at least for the moment, it does make it easy to identify the product as authentic or not. But really though, if it were me, I would just make sure I'm buying from the authorized places. That way it was just a guaranteed authentic product if you're buying from the correct places. But I thought that was worth covering real quick. Now though, let's talk final final thoughts here, starting with the washout. And this, for me, was both easy to cover and actually surprising too, because I really didn't expect it. This has a water rinse, and I thought for sure with how thick it is in the hair and how dry and full of body it is, how long that hold lasted, that it was going to need shampoo, but it really doesn't at all. At least for me, it didn't. It just came right out of my hair with water. I thought that was fantastic. The scent also, for me, I thought it was quite nice. It's not as light as I believe it was described, but somewhere on the site, or maybe the owner told me it was like a light scent. I can't remember where, but I heard it described as a light scent. I would not call it, a light scent per se. I would say it's more of a medium strength scent, but it's a really good one. I think of it kind of like a cologne scent with a hint of sweetness in there. I think it's really pleasant, and I actually quite enjoyed it. And yes, I am going to get into comparisons here in a second. I know you guys are itching for that because you probably see what I see. Really, I think you shouldn't be itching for comparisons, but I get it. I'll talk about it here in a second. But before that, let me offer my pieces of criticism on this product. And for me, that lies in just a couple of factors, the first being the dryness. I think that for some of you, the dryness is going to be a little bit too intense. Specifically, I think it's going to be you guys with thin or straight or fine hair. I don't know for sure, obviously, that some of you may like it. I can't really say for sure that you're not going to like it. I'm just basing that off of feedback that I've gotten from you guys on other products that have been at this level of dryness in the styling. As you apply it and it gets super dry, and you got some tug going on there. I just know that in the past, some of you guys have complained about this, so that's what I'm basing that on. For me personally, it was not too dry. I appreciate it, but I like a sticky product. I like a product that's, tacky like that. I actually find it nice because that's where you get that great hold and endurance out of when you actually have that tack and you can distribute it throughout your hair. For me though, specifically, the criticism lies in the styling itself. I found it to be a little tough to mold the hair. I talked about this a second ago. I was obviously able to get that done with smaller scoops, but I think really it would have been nicer to just have that right off the bat. Lastly too, in regards to the thickening effect, I'm not actually sure I saw that. I saw for sure a lot of texture and volume. That was identifiable. That was easy to see, but I just can't for sure claim to you guys that this made my hair fuller than it is naturally. I'm just not fully sure that I saw that. I do though think that I owe them some serious props for the hold strength and the level of texture. I thought it was fantastic. 10 hours of endurance. That's something that gets my attention real quick when a product can hold up that well. And I think in that forward quiff, the level of texture was just fantastic. I really enjoyed that style. It's obviously not something I get to do very often, so I think it just really lined up nicely with what the product was offering and what it delivered. Once again, that hold strength is, I'd call it a heavy for sure. It's definitely up there, which is great for people who have thick hair and really need that hold strength. I hear it's great for humid climates and things like that, so that's really awesome in my opinion. But now let's talk comparisons real quick. I think the obvious thing to do here is to narrow things down to the heavy clay club, Cavalier, Claymation, Forte Series, Ocean Clay. I'm not going to compare it to every known clay in the world, O'Dowd's matte paste, first hand styling clay. I'm not going to do that because that would take forever, and you can do that on your own by taking the discovered attributes that I've outlined here and then taking them and comparing them to the known attributes of whatever clay you're looking at. So just take the list and go compare it to whatever clay you're wanting, and you'll get your answer far quicker than asking me. But for the heavy clays that I just mentioned, this does make more sense to me to compare them. And in examining them, I can eliminate a few of these right off the bat because they really just don't make a whole lot of comparative sense here. And that's Cavalier and Claymation. Both of these are more slick than the Apestomen Clay, and they aren't as dry really at all. Both of those are also thicker too than this product, so it just doesn't make sense to compare them when you don't have that many comparable attributes. I did almost eliminate Ocean Clay too based on some of those same things, but as I sat down, I thought about it a little more and I decided I would keep that one in the, comparison loop because the consistency and breakdown of those two are just super close. It's really close in the hand to Ocean Clay. The difference though, the reason why I almost dropped it is really Ocean Clay is much slicker than the Apestomen Clay and it's not as dry, and it for sure doesn't create as much texture. Ocean Clay is way more pliable than this than this one too, frankly, but I would have to say that Apestomen has the advantage over hold strength and texture, so, you know, there's that. It's the whole give and take type thing. And then finally, when you look at the Apestomen Volcanic Clay up against the Portray series, when you look at those two up against each other, it's obvious to me that Apestomen is easier to scoop. I mean, that's just plainly obvious, and it's easier to apply to the hair, but the Portray series, I have to say, is a bit more pliable. You know, I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but I have to give it credit in that department when compared to this one. It was a little bit more pliable. I would, however, say, based on my testing of both products, that the Apestomen compared to Portray series has a better scent. That one doesn't have a scent at all, so they get the edge there. And it has more presentable hold, which in turn gives it longer endurance. So that's my thoughts on that. Hopefully that helps you guys out. In the end here, is this the best clay that I've ever used? I'm not saying that at all. I would, just like any other clay out there, there are things that it does super well and a couple of things that I think could use work. I'm not saying that in the least. In the end, really, it's up to you guys to take what I've presented here and make the choice of whether this looks good for you or sounds good for your hair type or not. It's really up to you guys. If you would like to check this out, I will leave a link in the description there. They do ship to the USA, by the way. It is coming from Singapore, but they do ship to the USA, and really, I looked at it. It's not that bad. I believe it comes out to be approximately $18.21 when converted from the Singapore currency over to the US dollar. It's really not that bad. It's like $18.21 with shipping from over there. So, and also I forgot, you guys, there is a coupon code. They offered you guys a coupon code. I will put that in the description there so you can save even more with that. But I really don't think that's bad at all. I mean, it's a pretty good price coming from all the way over there. But for everyone else, I did put the reliable places to order in the description there. Remember to check that out. Don't get caught with some counterfeits and waste your money. Check out their site and check out the other brands that they have there too. They got a lot of brands at that SG Pomades shop. They got a lot of them, including Dauntless, actually, so you can check out my products while you're there as well, so I really appreciate that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you tap that like button for me. Drop me a comment down below on what you thought of this clay and maybe what product from this line that you'd like to see me test out and review next. While you're there too, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's a huge help to me. I thank you very much in advance for doing that. I will also be back here with you guys again very soon with an all-new Behind the Brew, which I think you guys are really gonna love. So until then, take it easy, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys right here next time.